Hello there. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the very basic things that Autodesk Inventor has to offer, just a very broad overview on what it can do, and I'll be showing how to create and save files, along with some customization features. If you don't have Inventor 2021, check out a link in the description to a guide on how you could download it for free. Yeah, it's a step-by-step guide, very thorough, and I'll take you through it. So yeah, check it out to download it. Yeah, this is the screen that you will most likely see when you open up the icon, this shortcut, the app. When you open it up, this is most likely what you'll see. Most likely you will not see any of these things because these are my files that I have created and saved, and also many have recently opened. But you will see your own files later on once you start creating and saving them. So there are 4 files that you can create, tinker, and save and all that in Inventor. Part file, assembly, drawing, and presentation. Part files are basically the parts of a thing. So let's say a laptop was our thing. The part would be for instance, a screen, keys, motherboard, all those types of things. The sub-levels of it, the rudimentary things, screws, bolts, nuts, all that type of stuff. An assembly would be like the whole laptop, all the parts put together. An assembly could also be, for instance, a motherboard, because a motherboard has multiple parts in it. So a laptop can have multiple assemblies in it and become another assembly. So it has layers in it that will eventually come down to parts. Everything is made from parts. So yeah. So parts will be made from IPT files on standard from Inventor. When I say standard, when you save it, it will automatically be IPT unless specified otherwise towards for instance, step file, SolidWorks file. There's so many different types of files depending on what software it is. But Inventor can convert to all those. But IPT is the most common one, which is standard for Inventor. IPT stands for Inventor part. Yeah, and assembly is IAM, standard for Autodesk. It stands for Inventor assembly. It can also be a step file or whatever other files that are out there. So yeah, step file is the most universal CAD file. It can go between between softwares. For instance, SolidWorks is another platform, Blender is another platform. There's many platforms out there, and step files are more universal. And previous generations of Autodesk Inventor will be IPT and IAM, but a later generation of Inventor cannot be backtracked and opened up in a previous generation. So 2021 file cannot be opened up in 2020 or 2019, that type of thing. Drawing will be a basic schematic of sorts, where you take a 3D thing and put it down in 2D form, different angles, that type of stuff. It'll be in a DWG file, but you can also have it as PDF and all that, but you just have to specify it and change it. A presentation will be an animation of sorts, where you can have assemblies or parts in motion so you can showcase it or present it, and it'll be most likely a video file, MP4 most likely. But yeah, those are the 4 files that Autodesk Inventor mainly offers and allows you to make and use and all that. So by clicking on it, you open up that file, or you open up a window where you can edit a new one of those files. So I clicked on part, so now I'm in a new part file. It opened up another window. You can see here, the original window that we were looking at is the home window. Part is what I opened up here, part 1. If you click on assembly, it'll open up something slightly different. You'll see different tools and all that. Drawing will open up a completely different. This is very different from what we originally saw. And presentation will also be very different. Let me show you. So yeah, all these things. But yeah, if you want to close them, you can just press the X next to it. Click close, click and close. Another thing that can also be done with part files that I've figured out, you can open them up multi-view. So let's say you just drag it out. Now you can see this stuff in another thing, but you can't edit it or anything, so it kind of sucks. Let me just bring this back. To bring it back, you just drag it back in that space. If you double click it, you will see all the screens at once. If you double click this, to just double click it back, and it'll go back to normal. So that's another viewing option. I just change between them. I don't do much like that, but that is an option, just so that you are aware. And not to worry in case something does go wrong. So that's how you can close it. Let's say you accidentally close the home button. Not to worry, don't need to close all of Inventor and reopen it up. You can just hit the home button right here and it'll bring it right back, the home tab. Another way to open up tabs is through the new button right here. By clicking it, you will open up multiple things. Here you'll notice that there is more options than right here. Because whenever you press these, it'll automatically open up a standard, standard part, standard assembly, standard drawing. So yeah, like that. You just select it and then create, but each of those things have its own place and time. This is the only non-standard file type I use, sheet metal. That's one I use, but most often it's standard all. So that's how you do it, and then you select whatever, and then press create, cancel if you don't want it, or the X in the corner right here. So yeah, that is how you can that's how you can make a new file. Another new file that you can make is if you're importing a file, for instance, a step file or SolidWorks file, non-Inventor file basically. You can open it up with that and then save that as an Inventor file so that it makes the assembly and all those things a lot more smooth, and it keeps everything on the same plane so that it's usable and more convenient. So that's how you can import a file. You can also open files. These are all files that I've created recently and opened up, created, saved, and all that. This is not the only ones I've created. I've created many, but obviously they weren't recent, so you'd have to go into the Open tab, and then you'd have to search it up or go through the folders to find it. A fair warning, make sure that you try and have one folder for where you put all your CAD files. So it can just be like CAD files folder. And then in that folder, there's more folders for different organization. If you want like one to be a robot, another one to be whatever. And then just keep going so that you have it all neat and organized so that when you're making assemblies and more complicated things, it doesn't get messy and you won't waste a ton of time constantly trying to find that file. I've been there, that's why I've been a lot more organized lately. Also, I will show you saving and all that, but alright, so that is new and open. That's basically all that you will need here. Home button is also something, I mean, it's basically this. Here's also new and open. It's the same icon, so that's that. And this is the save icon, kind of like in Word and all. So let's just show you how you can save a thing. It's kind of the same like in Word. Main diff, obviously, it's a different software. But when I say it's kind of the same, for instance, when you have something edited in the software, let me just start something. Let me just draw a line, for instance. I will show how to do stuff with parts and all that later in different videos. Not to worry right now. Let's just worry about this basics right now. So let's say I just did some edit in the part file, assembly file, whatever. It's the same thing. So if I close it, it'll automatically ask me if I want to save it. And let's say I don't care about it. It was just meant to be some kind of rough design thinking type of stuff. I can just say no. But if I do want to save it, I can say yes. And then I can go through the process of saving it. So once again, try and keep a folder so that you know where everything is. And try and keep the naming concise. So like, because this file is just a line, let's just name it line. You can also edit the size of it. Oops. And it'll be, let's just say line. And then let's save. If you happen to have a file that already has that name, you'll either have to replace it, or you can just type in line bigger or bigger line, for instance, that type of thing. So just try and be concise so that you don't confuse it. And since I pressed the X button, that's why I closed it, because it wanted to do that command. But let's say that you wanted to save it the proper way, or I mean the normal way. You can either press this button so that you'll save it, and then you can also auto save it by pressing that. Or you can go through File and Save As, Save Copy As, all those type of things. Pack and Go is also something else that you can use. I'll talk about it later. But yeah, Save As is what you'd use to name it or whatever. Or Save, first time save would be Save As basically. This is kind of basic knowledge if you used Word, PowerPoint, all those types of document things. So yeah, that's how you save it. Another way, exporting. Remember how I talked about the step files and all those things? You just press export and CAD format, and then you would just save it as a different file. Step file is the most used non-Inventor file that I use, because I mean I'm an Inventor, so it's either Inventor or Step. So yeah, that's Step, and then you can just save it wherever you want, as whatever you want. Or you can do a save as and sorry, save as, but it's not exactly save as. So you'd go into this, and then you do a pack and go. Pack and go basically means that anything and this is more useful for assemblies, so you won't really need this right now, but when it is many parts put together in a assembly, you obviously, if you just do the export CAD file, it will just export all of them as a step file, but it won't be all in one place. It will still be in many random places, because an assembly just pulls a file from a certain place and then just edits it as a new thing and puts it. So if you had deleted the original part, it would delete it in the assembly. But if you did a pack and go, everything would be saved to it. That's why it's basically duplicating everything. So the pack and go is also there, but you won't need it right now. So don't worry about that. So let's just close out of this. I don't care about it. So now you see that the bigger line is right there, because that was recently created by me, and it'll be there. You can also delete it if you want to, or pin it to the main thing if you are constantly using it. That type of stuff. So now I'm just going to talk about some customizability things. So if you go into Tools, in either here or in one of these files, Tools, you will see a Applications option. So you might have noticed that when you opened up your part, the color of the background is not the same as mine. I can almost guarantee that if you haven't messed with the customizations, Inventor will automatically give you a light colored UI. I have dark mode here. It's amazing. It's really light on the eyes. But yeah, to change that type of stuff, you go into Application Options, and you'd go into Colors. There's many different tabs right here, but the one that I use the most is Colors. I really don't use any of the other ones. There's no reason to. And these are my settings. I have dark mode, and I have the winter night gradient. So it's a darker color, and it's really nice on the eyes. Not that bright, so it's not that intense. You can change it as you want, but if you change it, it will be different colors than mine when I make my videos. You just click on whatever you want and press apply and close. But when I say it'll be different, I mean that when you're creating shapes and all that, it will be a different color. So mine will be green, as you saw in the line, it's green, but it might be purple for you, or blue, or something else. So it'll be a little different, but it'll only be between two colors. Either it'll be one color for when it's constrained, which I'll talk about later, or it'll be or another color for when it's not constrained, which I'll also talk about later. So that's a thing to do with the customizability. That's to change the colors, dark mode and the screen color. That's basically it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Peace.